We begin with this story. Afreximbank has hired top lobbying firms to ensure U.S. President-elect Donald Trump listens to what Africans want, which is the renewal of the 24-year-old cornerstone of U.S. economic policy on the continent. That's the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. There are concerns that the Trump win will threaten investments in Africa. So how will the outcome of the U.S. elections impact on investments in the continent? Or Chief Executive of Emerging Business Intelligence and Innovations, EBII Group, Adjoa Adjei-Twum, joins me on Zoom to discuss. Hello to you, Adjoa. Good to see you. So first off, how significantly has U.S. investment in Africa grown over the years?
Thank you so much, and good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for having me. So yes, U.S. investment in Africa has grown significantly over the years. And I'll say that in the 2000s, at the beginning of the year 2000, there was increased investment in infrastructure, energy, with initiatives like the Power Africa. And then when we hit 2010, around that time, there was more around the strategic shift towards private sector investment. And so we had initiatives like the Prosper Africa, which emphasized more on investment in technology, finance and agriculture across the continent of Africa. And the minute we hit the 2020s, the investment has focused more around the sustainable development, with U.S. commitment focusing around the clean energy, around the health and the digital infrastructure. So that's sort of the pattern that we've seen over the years, I would say over the last between 10 to 20 odd years. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess a question on everybody's mind, does Trump win threaten investments in Africa? You know, he's got the America First policy, and people feel that's going to impact on FDIs.
I mean, that's a good question, and that's a good point. To some extent, there will be some impact. And of course, the America First, what that means is there is more opportunity now for renegotiation of relationship with the U.S. around trade. But also, America First means that a lot of the agreement that Trump's government is going to go into is going to be focusing on mutually beneficial trade relationship, which is, to some extent, is also very good for Africa, because it is a time where Africa then completely moves from aid to trade. And I think this will emphasize that, because there's been a lot of conversation about Africa moving from aid to trade. And yet there has been a lot of progress in that direction. But I do believe that the Trump government will focus more around that, the strategic business relationship or trade relationship that is mutually beneficial for both the continent of Africa and for the U.S. And so that's where I believe that we're going to head towards.
All right. So when we started the bulletin, I just mentioned that the Afreximbank, according to Africa Report, is lobbying, is hired lobbyists actually for AGOA, which is supposed to be renewed next year. Your thoughts on this move?
Yeah. So first of all, again, I believe that Trump's government, it's not going to be a bad thing for the continent of Africa. And the reason why I say that is, when he came into power 4 years ago, they started, so the initiatives like the Prosper Africa, initiatives like the DFC is a Trump government initiative. And these are organizations that they've been set up to focus on investing in Africa. And then, of course, we have the Power Africa, which was an Obama initiative. But Trump did not stop the Power Africa initiative when he came into government. He actually sponsored it, and they expanded electricity access across the continent. And of course, we come to AGOA. Now, AGOA, again, when Trump came into power, he did not stop AGOA. He continued with AGOA. So I can only imagine that it will continue. He is a businessman. He's not a typical politician. And he's focusing more on business and how, of course, business relationship and trade relationship can grow America and the other parties. So I do definitely believe that it will continue. Now, Afreximbank hiring lobbies to lobby and to ensure that their voice is heard is a good thing. Of course, it's a new government, and we must not rule out the fact that, yes, a lot of effort needs to be done, especially with the America First agenda. We will have to be more vocal as Africans within the U.S. space to be heard. But I do believe that Trump will not ignore Africa based on what he's done in the past.
Yeah, and what sort of strategy should we adopt on our part to ensure that, I mean, that relationship is going on? We are having investments